What's going on, everyone? I hope we're doing well. Well, today we're going to do our record predictions. I'm going to do my record predictions for the NFL. Oh, there's an order here, completely randomized. It was different last time, so I think this might be the order. If don't blame me if I lose track as we fill in the records, because this is technically what the league standing would be. I know no games have been played yet. But once I fill in the records, it would make a somewhat of a template of a league standing. But I'll try to do the order as best I can, but no promises. Okay, so but still, I'm gonna start with the San Francisco 49ers. They're coming off a injury-riddled 6-11 season last year. Are they gonna win more games than that? Let's find out week 1. Now, I think the Niners could go out and win this game. Seattle could be good as well. With Sam Darnold. But a healthy 49ers team absolutely owns the Seahawks. So that's the reason the Niners will win that game. The Niners and Saints I don't think will be any contest, so we'll give that to the 49ers. Week 3 in Arizona. This will be a little more of a contest. Arizona beat them last year, but San Francisco didn't have a kicker that game because of injuries, and Arizona could do it again. But I think the 49ers will be healthy this year, and that's good enough for a win against Arizona. Jacksonville, well, I think Jacksonville will be improved. No contest. 49ers win. Niners Rams. I think I'll have the Niners losing in LA because I tend to favor home teams. That's why I have them beating Arizona in week 3, but losing to the Rams in week 5. If it's pretty even in a division game, I tend to favor home teams. And it's because they'll be more used to atmosphere. Week 6, I know the 49ers usually beat the Buccaneers. But this time, I'm going to pick the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are going to be very good this year. It'll be a close game. And the Falcons, I think they'll rebound and beat the Falcons. And Atlanta could be a good team this year, but I think the Niners are better. Week 8, Houston, I'm going to have that in as a loss. CJ Stroud is very good, and yeah, I don't know really too much else to say. Other than that, they'll lose that game. Okay, week 9, San Francisco Giants, perfect rebound game. Well, I think the Giants will be better, but Giants have a hard schedule. This is part of the Giants' hard schedule. 49ers will win this one. Week 10 against the Rams. At home. Give me the Niners. I think they'll split the season series, just like they'll split the season series with Arizona. I might be biased saying that, but I think Arizona is going to be very good this year. Your home team. I tend to favor home teams, and this is why I think Arizona will win. And this one. And I'm thinking I might go out. No, never mind. I'm thinking of going out the rest different order, but never mind. Let's see here. Let's go. There we go. Okay, so week 12, Carolina and San Francisco. It could be a close game. It's a primetime game. Last year, a lot of the primetime and division games were pretty close, especially when the teams were even. But I think the Niners will win at home. Well, I wouldn't be shocked if Carolina won this game. It's the Christian McCaffrey Bowl, but I still think the Niners are going to win. Week 13. Call me crazy for saying this. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for what I'm about to do. Going into their bye week, I've got them losing to the Browns. I think the Niners have one or two inexplicably bad losses during the year, and I think this is going to be one of them. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to take the Browns there. Week 14 is a bye week. They'll be 8-5 going into their bye week, so pretty good so far. And here's the final 4 games for the Niners. Titans, Colts, Bears, Seahawks. I have got the Niners beating Tennessee, beating Indianapolis. I'll take you to 10-5. I got them losing to Chicago. Oh, the Niners lost a lot of pieces on offense. And I think I have them. I know a healthy 49ers team usually beats the Seahawks, but the Seahawks beat them in Santa Clara last year. I want to give this win to the Niners, but the Seahawks could win that game. And as much as it pains me to do that, but I think the Niners go 10-7, and maybe only just missed the playoffs. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if this win total was a lot higher. Like, I could see them beating Tampa. I could see them beating Arizona. I could see them even beating Cleveland. And it really could go either way. I'm going to go 10-7 for the Niners. Okay, next up, I'm going to do the Chicago Bears. I might go just randomly here. So, the Bears, Caleb Williams was good last year, but the Bears were bad. And so what do we make of that? The bad coaching staff of Chicago is gone. Ben Johnson's the new head coach. Let's see if he's up for the challenge. Okay, what's that doing there? I think it's frozen. Okay, there we go. Oh, what is it doing? Like, yeah, there. Okay, so week 1 against Minnesota. I don't like what Minnesota's doing at quarterback. The atmosphere will be a little too much for Minnesota, but that works into Chicago's favor. So give me the Bears. The Lions. I mean, Ben Johnson would know the offense very well. This would be a chess match type game. But I think they'll split this year. But I'm going to have the Lions winning here, because I have the Lions doing very well this year. Probably by week 18, they might not need it. The Lions might not need it. The Bears might, so... Oh, we'll just go ahead and fill that in. I have the Bears winning week 18. And the Cowboys and the Bears always play the Cowboys well. Chicago and the Raiders. I think Chicago's a more established team. I wouldn't be surprised this is a close game. But I think the Bears win this game. The Bears and the Commanders after a week 5 bye. 3-1 going into the bye week. Pretty good. But I have them losing to the Commanders. I know Ben Johnson needs to go out and win this game. I don't think he does. I think the Bears lose this game because I have the Commanders doing very well this year. Let's see. But the Saints. Everyone's like, oh, the Bears will start losing. The Bears will start losing. No. I think they're going to be panicking after week 6. They'll rebound in week 7 against the Saints again. I don't think the Saints are a good team this year. So, yeah. I don't think they're a good team. I don't think the Saints are a good team. Chicago, Baltimore. Let's go with the Ravens. I think the Ravens will be too much of an ask. The Bengals, I think, are the same thing. Too much for the Bears to handle. Giants and Bears. That's where the Bears will win the game. Now, Minnesota could be good. We don't know. Minnesota will get behind their atmosphere, just like Chicago did to Minnesota in week 1. I think Chicago and Minnesota split the series. Steelers and the Bears. There's something going around. Aaron Rodgers seems to own the Bears, but no longer. I think Chicago goes out and wins that game. Chicago and Philadelphia, just like Baltimore and Cincinnati, that's too much of an ask. Caleb Williams has never lost a game at Lambeau Field. But I am going to go with the Packers in that one because it'll be a little rough. If the Packers were... I don't know what the Packers were doing by the end of the year last year. Well, they had a good record. Oh. Yeah. What was that? What was that thing? And just... Okay, there we go. Oh, and... Yeah, Packers, I think they'll be rested coming off of bye week. Where was that? What was that legend coming off of bye? Yep. So, week 15, Browns and the Bears. I know the Browns beat them last time, but the Bears were not good the last time. The Bears are better than the Browns now, so give me that for a Chicago victory. And a Chicago victory, the Bears will end the year on a 4-game winning streak. They'll go 10-7. But over a head-to-head tiebreaker, the Chicago Bears would make the playoffs, in my opinion. The Chicago Bears, I know they'd finished third in the NFC North. Think how I have this set up. But they... a win in 10 games and go to the playoffs as the 7th seed, I believe I have them. So, yeah. Next up, who are we doing next? Let's see. Let's do the Jacksonville. No, I'm going to stay in the NFC. I'm going to stay in the NFC. No. Is it frozen on me? There we go. No, I'm not going to go to an AFC team just yet. We'll get through the NFC teams. So let's go to the Washington Commanders. I'll do the Commanders and the Eagles next. And the Cowboys after that because I'll probably be. So Commanders, they're coming off a great year last year. Let's see if they can do it again. Week 1 against the Giants. I think the Commanders would go out and win that game. I mean, the Commanders kickstarted. The Giants kickstarted the Commanders. It was a great season in week 2 last year. And I think it'll happen again. Washington, Green Bay. Originally, I had Washington winning this game. But I think Green Bay will win this game. Green Bay will be probably coming off a quick turnaround. Both teams are coming off a quick turnaround. And I think the atmosphere for the Packers will be a little too much to handle for the Commanders. The Commanders would have to travel to Lambeau. The Packers get to stay where they are, so that's probably the reason I have them winning this game. Raiders, Commanders, I think the Commanders are too good for the Raiders, so they'll win this game. Week 4, I think the Falcons get their revenge. And I think the Falcons would get their revenge on the Commanders. Or do you remember that game in Week 17 in last year? That was a good game. I think the Falcons roll out the same staff and win the game. They were close to winning last year. As long as they don't Falcon it, they'll win the game. Washington Chargers. I'm going to have Washington winning that game. And Washington will be coming off a quick turnaround. Washington will be coming off a loss. They'll learn from their mistakes in week 5. Week 6, as I mentioned before, I have Chicago beating Washington. Or, not Chicago beating Washington. Other way around. Washington beating Chicago. So, that's good. Good for the Commanders because they beat the Bears again. Remember that Hail Mary. I don't know if we're going to see something like that. We might. On a Monday Night Football game. And Commanders will be a little more rested. I think both teams will be, but I tend to favor home teams. Games that might there might be something dramatic in the Chicago game. I think they'll win that game. But week 8, usually teams who do something dramatically good one week usually let down the next game or the next week. So that's why I had the Cowboys winning. And like they'll be coming off something dramatic, and the Commanders will be coming off probably a dramatic win against Chicago, and they'll have to travel to Dallas. I think Dallas could probably catch them. Washington might not be up for the game, but they'll turn around. To beat the Chiefs the next week. They'll come home. They'll beat Seattle. I think the Commanders are better than the Seahawks. The Lions, the Commanders could lose this game. But no revenge for Detroit. I think Washington's better than Detroit. Washington and the Dolphins. I think the Commanders are better than the Dolphins. So that would mean... Is there anything filled in? 8-3 before their bye week. So that's pretty good. Denver and Washington. I think those teams could match up pretty well. But I think the Commanders have the better offense. Unless Jaden Daniels throws at Patrick Surtain. You don't want to do that. I think Jaden Daniels is smarter than that. I don't think he'll do that. So that's why the Commanders will win that game. Week 14, I think the Commanders are better than the Vikings. The Giants, they might pull out an upset. Especially going into a gauntlet of division games. As I think the Giants will win at home. Like, the Giants are going to win a few more games this year. Or so. That could happen. Philly and Washington. I've got Washington winning at home. Philadelphia doesn't usually win. In Washington, I got Washington beating Dallas, learning from their mistakes from the last time they played them. Philly usually beats Washington in Washington, so I have the Commanders going 12-5. I'm gonna do Philly's record next. Just to see who wins that division, because between those two teams. So Philadelphia, the defending Super Bowl champions going into the year. Let's see how good they're going to do. Week 1, Dallas. This game's in Philadelphia. It's the kickoff game. Dallas will have to watch them raise their match. This is going to be an all-out great night for Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, ready for another Super Bowl beatdown on the Chiefs? I think so. Philadelphia wins in Kansas City. Philadelphia has the Rams number, but after those few crazy games, they're going to lose to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers always seem to beat the Eagles, so... Oh, and it's in Tampa Bay, too, so yeah, give me the Buccaneers to win that. They'll turn around and beat the Broncos. I do have the Broncos doing very well this year, but Philadelphia is better than the Broncos. Week 6 against the Giants. Week 7 against the Vikings. I think Philadelphia is better than every one of those teams between weeks 6 through 8. So I have them winning all 3 weeks. Week 6, 7, 8. That's a 4-game win streak going into the bye week. 9 and... Or no, hang on. Why am I reading that? It was 1, 2, 3... 7-1 going into their bye week. Like Philadelphia and Green Bay. Philadelphia will be rested up for the game. Philadelphia has the Packers number lately, so I think Philadelphia will win that game. Detroit and Philadelphia, that'll be a great game. That probably easily could have been the NFC Championship game last year, but give me the Lions to win that one in a very close margin. Eagles will let down against the Cowboys. Always in Dallas. Dallas is going to beat Philadelphia once this year. Just please don't hate me, Eagles fans. Please. Please don't hate that. I know everyone's saying, the Eagles are going to beat the Cowboys. Like, yeah, in week 1, but I think they'll split. Week 13, they turn around, they beat the Bears. Week 14, I got them beating the Chargers pretty close. I got them beating the Raiders. I have them losing in Washington. Philadelphia always seems to lose in Washington. I'm losing to Buffalo. Oh, I originally had Philadelphia winning this game, but I'm losing to Buffalo, but I'm beating Philadelphia, or I'm beating Washington. But I have them going 12-5. I don't understand these tiebreakers that it has here. Washington and Philadelphia would be tied, and what's the tiebreaker? Percent versus division. I don't understand. And maybe if I swap the games around, yeah. I'll swap those games around. So Philadelphia, the road team will win those games. So really, it's like percent by division. I have Washington winning the division just because the NFC East doesn't have repeat champions. And it just seems to be a thing of that. If that wasn't real, I would pick Philadelphia. But it is real, I think. But it'll be very close between those two teams. Let's now do... Where are the Dallas Cowboys? See, as mentioned, they're going to lose week 1 to Philadelphia. They'll beat the Giants in week 2. The Packers always seem to beat down on the Cowboys. Also, 1-3 of the first 4 weeks, not great. But I have them being the Jets, the Panthers, and the Commanders. They go from 1-3 to 4-3. Some easier competition, and they might let down the Commanders. But then the Broncos. I think Denver is better than Dallas. Arizona owns the Cowboys, so... Arizona's going to win that game. Cowboys and the Raiders. I got the Raiders winning that one. Just, I favor home teams when I can't really decide, so... Chiefs and Cowboys. I want to give the Cowboys the win here. But I think the Chiefs are going to win that game. I think the Chiefs are better than the Cowboys. The Chiefs, I think, will be on a hot streak at that time. The Lions are all out better than the Cowboys. They proved that last year, and I think they'll prove it again. I got Dallas beating Minnesota. I mean, in Dallas, it's at home. Dallas could shake up Minnesota. Chargers, I think, are better than the Cowboys. Commanders, Giants, how many wins is that? 6 wins for the Cowboys. I want it to be 7, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to rebound this year. Yes, I know they got George Pickens, and I know Dak Prescott is healthy. I wouldn't be surprised if they won 10, 12 games. But this is just a tough schedule. Well, there are some games they will win. There are also some games they'll lose. So, yeah. Give me a 6 wins for the Cowboys. Let's do the Giants now. Let's do the Giants. Okay, guys, I had to get a drink. So, what are we doing now? New York Giants. Alright, so... Well, let's see. I have them losing to Washington and Dallas. It's already filled in. And just because I think those will be too tough. The Chiefs... I want to get the Giants to win. I don't want to get the Chiefs a lot of wins, but I have to think logically somewhat. So I think the Chiefs will win that game. Chargers? I'm really liking the Chargers this year. So I think they'll lose that. I'm not liking the Saints this year, so... the Giants will win that. I know the Saints usually have the Giants number. But give me the Giants. It's because I think the Giants have a better outlook than the Saints. Giants, Broncos. Broncos are too tough an ask. Ask Philadelphia, it's too big of an ask. The Niners and Bears, that's all too much of an ask. the Giants could beat the Packers, but I think the Packers are for real this year. The Lions, I think the Lions will beat the Giants. I don't think the Patriots will beat the Giants. I got the Giants beating the Patriots. Giants have the Patriots number for a long time. Kind of just going on past Super Bowls with the Patriots. I know that means nothing, but history. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm giving the Giants a win. Could be an upset. Yeah, we'll just say that. Minnesota, I got Minnesota beating the Giants. They did at MetLife last year, and why would I change a thing about that? But I do have the Giants beating the Raiders, but then losing to the Cowboys. So how many wins is that? That's 5-12. New York still last in the NFC East, but they improved their win total by 2 games. And if they had an easier schedule, I'd give them more wins. But for now, it's 5-12. Well, for the Giants now. I'm going to go just in NFC. Okay, let's do the Green Bay Packers now. Green Bay coming off an 11-6 year, but a wild card loss to the eventual Super Bowl champions. So, how good are they going to do this year? Well, let's take a look. They open the season with the Lions. I think the Lions will beat the Packers. Now, I filled in some of their games as I was doing other teams, so they'll start off 0-1. They'll beat Washington in week 2. Do I even need to discuss Green Bay, Cleveland? Green Bay. Hey, no discussion. Week 4, Cowboys, almost no discussion, but Cowboys could put up more of a fight than the Browns. But record is 5-3-1 going into the bye week. Pretty good. Bears, Packers. Or not Bears, Packers. I think of Bengals, Packers. This could be a close game, but I think Green Bay will win that game. It's probably a game where the Bengals defense won't show out unless they sign Trey Hendrickson. Then it makes it a little closer, but it's going to be an offensive firework game. And Green Bay, I mean, Arizona could let them down, but Green Bay, Arizona always plays Green Bay close, but Green Bay would probably find a way to pull out the win. So that's 5-game win streak. And it'll take them to 5-1, 6-1 with the win over the Steelers, 7-1 with a win over the Panthers. Because after Arizona, the competition gets easier the next couple weeks until you play Philadelphia. I have the Eagles beating the Packers. The Eagles will be coming off a bye and they'll be rested. And the Packers will beat the Giants. Too much of an ask for New York to beat Green Bay. Minnesota and Green Bay. I'm going to go with the Packers, because I think the Packers will beat the Vikings this year. Or at least once. Green Bay and Detroit. I know Detroit doesn't do well on Thanksgiving, but I think after avenging in the games against Minnesota last year, they'll win that. They'll turn around, lose to Detroit. I think Detroit's got it figured out for Thanksgivings. Chicago, Green Bay. I favor home team, so I have Green Bay and Chicago splitting. I have Green Bay losing to the Broncos. Because I think the Broncos defense will give the Packers problems. The Ravens and the Packers. I have Green Bay beating Baltimore. How many wins is that? 11-5. No, let's go 12 wins for the Packers. I think the addition of Matthew Golden in the NFL draft is really going to help Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to benefit from taking a wide receiver. It's not that their wide receivers were horrible, but I think they could have used a boost. Matthew Golden is the is the boost this team needs. And there are rumors. There's like 26. Jordan Love's entering his age 26 season. He could win a Super Bowl. Well, I think it's all lined up in place. Give the Packers with 12 wins, but that's not good enough for the NFC North. But don't get upset. I mean, Detroit's just that good, but 12 wins is nothing to scoff at. Come on. Let's go to the Lions. I have the Lions starting off 2-0 with the win against the Packers. The Packers don't seem to do good on opening week, but after that, Packers will hit their stride. The Lions will hit the ground running. And Detroit will win against Chicago in a close one on the Ben Johnson Bowl, but I think I have the Lions winning week 2. I have them splitting though, but at the end of the year here is a game where I have the Bears winning, because at that point I think the Lions will be resting starters. They won't need that game. The Bears will. But week 3, I think this is going to be a good game. And Detroit, it's not crazy to suggest that they'll beat Baltimore, but I'm taking Baltimore to beat Detroit in a very close Monday night game. But then they'll turn around. This is where they're going to start going. No contest against the Browns. Bengals, a bit of a contest. The Lions are too firepower on defense. The Lions will beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are too tough. A little too tough for the Chiefs. The Lions will get revenge on the Buccaneers. They'll beat the Vikings. No revenge for Detroit against Washington. Their win streak would stop at 5, but that would only be their second loss. Then they'll beat Philadelphia, Giants, the Packers, the Cowboys, all 4 in a row. They'll beat the Rams. The Lions seem to have the Rams number these days. Steelers and the Lions. And I think the Lions are the much better team. Now, I know there's rumors saying that Aaron Rodgers has got to get a drink of water. There we go. I know there's speculation that Aaron Rodgers, Hail Marys, he's with the Packers, but he's on the Steelers now, and the Lions are much better than when that stuff happened. So give me the Lions. The Bears and the Vikings on Christmas Day. It's gonna be a good Christmas for the Lions. That'll wrap the NFC North in the number 1 seed, and then they'll lose to the Bears because they'll be resting starters to avoid injury. Chicago will need that game to get into the playoffs. So I have them winning 14 games. And there was rumors like, oh, they were not going to win 15 games. Minnesota's not going to win 14 games. And it's like, they're not going to repeat these absurd or good records. I think Detroit can. I do have them losing 1 extra game, but still. Well, if any team could replicate even 15-2 or even go undefeated, it's the Lions. And so, this is an elite team. The Lions will win. So let's finish the NFC North, shall we? The Minnesota Vikings. They made a mistake letting Sam Darnold go. They had everything in place. Sam Darnold was playing out of his mind. If they had re-signed him, and this would probably be a lot different, but still, let's take a look. J.J. McCarthy is going to be their starter, so let's take a look. Like the Falcons and the Vikings, I think the Vikings could win this. Actually, the Falcons. The Falcons have the more experienced quarterback. The Bengals, Minnesota's success, a team's success really depends on their quarterback. And I think Minnesota fits that mold more than anybody else. Minnesota and Seattle fit those molds very well. I don't think they'll beat the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is a bit better. They'll beat Steelers. They'll beat the Browns. They'll shine on the international stage going into week 6 by 2-3, and then they'll lose to Philadelphia. The Chargers game is going to be interesting for the Vikings. But I really don't think they'll have a contest against the Chargers. I think the Chargers will win that game. I know Minnesota played well at SoFi Stadium. No, they didn't play well at SoFi Stadium. What am I talking about? Weird. Anyway, they'll lose to the Lions. I don't think that'll be a contest. Ravens, no contest. They'll beat the Bears. They'll upset the Bears. Get another win. No contest against the Packers. I haven't beaten the Seahawks. Because I think the Seahawks, they're pretty even teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle won that game, but decide amongst yourselves. I wouldn't be surprised if they tied. Washington, no contest. Dallas, I think it's home team advantage for Dallas. They have them beating the Giants. The Lions, no contest. The Packers, no contest to end the year. So Minnesota will go 5-12. That is last in the NFC North. No return to the playoffs. They have a 1 year on, 1 year off thing, where 1 year they're really good, the next year they're really bad. And I think that's going to continue. So give me the Vikings with 5 victories. As you know, Vikings fans are going to hate that. They have a tough schedule. So let's see. Let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see how good they're going to do. They just keep going. What is it? Team Atlanta 1, Tampa 1-0? What is that? I don't know what is that? What is that thing? Oh, okay. Alright, so the Buccaneers. They keep doing the same things as the Seahawks. In 2023, Buccaneers and Seahawks went 9-8. Both of them made no changes. They both go 10-7. Tampa wins the NFC South. Seattle probably should have won the NFC West. I think a stupid tiebreaker lost from the division. But they beat the Rams. I think they deserved to win the division in all fairness. But Tampa re-signed all their good players. Seattle made so many changes. So let's see how good Tampa's going to do. Week 1, Tampa's good in the opening week. Falcons really aren't, so I'm going to take the Bucs here. Week 2 against the Texans could be a letdown. I think CJ Stroud will probably give them a little bit of problems. Week 3 against the Jets, no contest. The Bucs seem to have the Eagles number. And yes, this is the game I was talking about. Tampa and Seattle. Seattle's changed half of their offensive personnel. The Buccaneers didn't. All they did was lose their offensive coordinator. But Baker Mayfield is him, and that's why they're going to win that game. Week 6, I know the Niners usually beat the Bucs, but give me the Buccaneers. Here's Week 7, I think it's going to be too much of an ask for them to beat the Lions. Week 8, though. Tampa is going to beat the Saints. I don't know if the Saints doing very well this year. Tampa's going to be the Patriots, no contest. Tampa's just the better team. The Bills are the better team than the Buccaneers. I wouldn't be surprised if this game was close. What time is that game? Won't tell me. But the Buccaneers will rebound against the Rams. They'll beat the Cardinals. I think the Buccaneers are worthy of beating the Cardinals. As much as I want Arizona to win a game, but hey, it's good competition. And now the Saints and the Bucs. I'm going with Tampa again. I am losing Week 15 to the Falcons. So I think they'll split with the Falcons, and I think they'll split with the Panthers. I have them winning the first game because Tampa will still be playing and with something to prove. So that's why I have them winning Week 16. Week 17, I don't have the Dolphins doing very well, so give me the Buccaneers. And then Carolina will win Week 18. Tampa will probably be resting starters. But that will give them... what is this? There we go. That'll give them the Buccaneers 12 victories, and that is plenty good for first in the NFC South. Let's move on to the Falcons. In here. So, yeah, the Atlanta Falcons. If they win one, they go 8-9, but I really think they could have been better. Or so. Let's see. They start off with a loss against the Buccaneers, a win against the Vikings, because I think Michael Penix Jr. is more experienced than J.J. McCarthy. And I don't think J.J. will have found his footing yet. But I have him losing Week 3 in Carolina. Upset. I'm going to mark this as an upset. I think they'll split this year. I think Atlanta will split with all their division opponents. The Bills and the Falcons, no contest. The Bills are going to win that. The Dolphins and the Falcons, I don't have the Dolphins doing very good this year. And I think the Falcons are the better team. I really do. So, Week 9, Falcons, Patriots. Now, the Patriots winning because the game's in Foxborough. Week 10, Falcons, Colts in Germany. Some people would pick the Colts, but I'm going to pick the Falcons. I think the Falcons are better than the Colts. The Falcons will win in Week 11 against Carolina because I'm going to favor home teams. I know the Falcons, Bucks. Like, the only reason the Falcons win on the road is because, Tampa. Oh no, Tampa does good in the opening week. The Falcons don't usually, from my experience. So, Tampa usually hits the ground running, so that's why I say that. But the Falcons will lose to the Saints. The Saints are going to get one divisional win this year, and I think it's going to be it. The Falcons have a tendency to lose a couple games that they shouldn't, which is why they'll lose to the Jets. What's their record out of all these games? 6-7. Oh. They'll rebound against the Seahawks. I know Seattle blew them out last year, but I don't think that'll happen again. The Falcons will beat the Buccaneers, so that'll take them right out to 8-7. It'll be 6-7, 7-7. No, 7-7, 7-8. I think the Cardinals beat the Falcons, but I think the Falcons will win the next two. But I have the Falcons going 9-8. But the way I have this set up, unfortunately for the Falcons, that's not good enough to make the playoffs. Officer win the NFC South. Not good enough right now, but if they can get a winning season, I think that'll be pretty good. Maybe probably next year for the Falcons. But let's see the Panthers, Carolina. Bryce Young played down the stretch very well last year against Carolina. Does he keep it going? Let's see. Panthers and the Jaguars. There's some crazy thing that the Panthers beat the Jaguars and then good things happen to them. I do have them beating the Jaguars, but I don't think a lot of good, too much good, is gonna come out of that. So, yeah, I don't think too much good's gonna come out of that, which is why they'll lose to Arizona at home. They'll kind of be stuck in that mindset. Arizona will catch them. They won't be up for the Arizona game, but they'll turn around and beat the Falcons, have them beating the Patriots, or losing to the Patriots. The Patriots have the Panthers number, so let's go. That goes 2-2, 3-2. I think the Panthers could be better than the Dolphins. I know that might have been a bad take, but I think the Panthers are better than the Dolphins. Just saying. And after a win like that, they'll turn around and lose to the Cowboys. They'll beat the Jets. I think the Panthers are better than the Jets. But Week 8, it's going to be no contest against the Bills. Because I think the Bills are better. for the Panthers by a mile. They'll be coming off a bye week anyway, so yeah. Panthers, Packers. I think the Packers are better. Carolina could beat them. Carolina will beat the Saints. Lose to the Falcons and Niners back to back. The Rams. I'm sorry, I got them losing to the Rams because I think the Rams are the better team. But I think I have them beating the Saints. Do I have what? How many wins do they have? 7-9. I have them losing to the Seahawks. So 7-10. And this year, I don't think Carolina will make the playoffs and like win the NFC South. Of that kind of deal. I don't think that'll happen. And I think next year they're in the conversation, but this year it's all about making sure Bryce Young continues to develop and improving their win total. That's what I think of when I talk about the Panthers. But there are some games they will win, but there are also some games they won't win. So 7-10, but still, for Carolina's standards, like they keep improving. And I think they'll keep improving, but yeah, 7-10. Now, I don't want to be too mean to Saints fans, but I'm also going to be honest. I don't like what the Saints are doing this year. So let's see week 1 against the Cardinals. I know the Saints could win this game because they usually win in opening week and the Cardinals don't. But I think the Cardinals are going to win in opening week. I know, I might sound biased, but I don't think that would be too crazy for the Cardinals to win that game. The Niners, that's going to be too hard. Seahawks, I think, are better. The Bills, I'm not even going to discuss this. Bills are going to win. Giants, Patriots, Bears, Buccaneers, Rams, Panthers. They're going to start the season in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0-10 to start the year. That's not good. But the Falcons, the Saints will beat the Falcons. Then they'll lose to the Dolphins. And the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Saints are not going to be good this year, but they'll beat the Jets. The Jets have a tendency to lose games they probably shouldn't, and this will be one of them. But they will not beat the Titans. They will not beat the Falcons at the end of the year. I have them going 2-15. Again, not a great year. I don't care if it's Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler. I don't think either of them can win. But the Saints will be in line for the number 1 pick and getting a good QB next year. All right, let's do the NFC West. Now, I'm going to start with the Seahawks. I really don't like the Seahawks. I'm kind of biased against them as a Cardinals fan because I remember what they did to my team last year. If the Cardinals beat the Seahawks twice last year, they win the division. But things happen. But I also do think they should have won the NFC West. But that's in the past. Let's look towards the future, which I have them losing week 1 to 49ers. A healthy 49ers team usually beats the Seahawks. The Steelers will win. Steelers will be hitting their stride early in the year. The Saints and the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks getting their first win. I know the Seahawks seem to own the Cardinals, but no longer. Arizona's going to win that game. And Arizona is legit in my eyes. I might be the only one saying that because I am a Cardinals fan, but Arizona, I think, will win the game. Tampa, Seattle, they got rid of Geno Smith. They got rid of Tyler Lockett. They got rid of DK Metcalf. And I think all 3 of those moves were huge mistakes. I know they drafted Gray Zabel and got Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp, but their offensive line, and will probably hurt their quarterback, and that's going to break them this year. I could be wrong. They could still be good, but week 6, I have them beating the Jaguars. I'm losing week 7 to Houston. Week 8 bye, they'd be 2-5. Or they'd be 2-4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2-5 when the bye week. Yikes. 2-6, 2-7. I think the Cardinals will sweep the Seahawks this year. I think the Cardinals are a much better team. And because the Cardinals didn't make those mistakes, they invested in their defense. And so the Seahawks changed some personnel. They kind of downgraded. But the Rams will beat the Seahawks in LA. I think they'll split this year. Seahawks and the Titans. It wouldn't be crazy if Seattle did win that game, but I think Tennessee's going to win that game. It was like 4-11. Oh, jeez. They'll lose to Minnesota. They'll lose to Atlanta. But I do have them ending the year on a 4-game win streak. But I don't think the Seahawks are going to be good this year. I might be biased as a Cardinals fan, but their offensive line worries me. They don't have a good offensive line. They swapped out successful receivers for Cooper Kupp and Sam Darnold. Well, I just don't see the hype. I don't buy the Sam Darnold hype. Now, we're going to go to the Rams, which they added Devontae Adams, but are they going to have a winning season? Let's find out. I have them losing week 1. The Rams don't usually start well. Oh, and the Texans' first 4 games are easy or moderately easy. So I think the Texans win that one. I have the Rams beating the Titans. Cam Ward will still be finding his footing in the NFL by then. So the Eagles usually have the Rams number. But I don't have the Colts doing too well this year. So the Rams will win that one. And it's very sad what happened to Jim Irsay. And my condolences go out to the Colts for that. Losing someone beloved is tough. Oh, hang on. Okay, someone just rang the doorbell. Yeah. I can clean my dryer then. Okay. So, I'll have the Rams beating the Niners at home. I tend to favor home teams in these scenarios. Those where I think they're even. And home atmosphere probably dictates a lot. The Rams, I have them losing to Baltimore. I have them losing to Jacksonville. But Jacksonville has some good weapons. And they have Travis Hunter. And, what do I say here? What do I think here? Yeah, I don't think... And this will also be in London, England. And the Jags usually shine 1 or 2 games in London, England. And they usually play well, so... That's why I have them winning that game. In the Rams beat the Saints. They lose to the Niners at home. The Rams-Saints game will be no contest. Seattle and the Rams, I have those two splitting this year. I have Los Angeles beating Carolina 6-9, so I don't think they're going to be great this year. Arizona, I have Arizona beating the Rams twice, because I think Arizona's better than the Rams. And as Rams fans, remember 41-10? That'll hold a special place in my heart. So, yeah, the Rams go 6-11. And on to the Holy Grail, the Arizona Cardinals. They're coming off an 8-9 year that should have been 10-7. Why did we lose to the Seahawks? That upsets me, and it probably upsets Cardinals fans everywhere. Because if they don't win that game, they probably win the division. I'm going to put that in YouTube short to clarify that. But that's the past. Let's move on to the future. And so I have the Cardinals starting out with a win against the Saints. Against the Saints, will probably be debating who's going to start. So Art in Arizona, Kyler Murray's going to start. Whoever's starting for the Saints, Kyler Murray, thinks going to be better. Week 2, I think the Cardinals get their revenge on the Panthers. As for last year, where they knocked us out of the playoff race. Ace week 3. I have us losing this game. And again, we won in San Francisco last year. We swept them last year, but the Niners are going to be healthy this year. I think that's good enough for one win against us. But we're not losing to the Seahawks, home or away. Seattle will change out their offensive personnel, and I think that was a mistake. Week 5 against the Titans. I think Cam Ward will still be finding his footing in that one, so we're going to win that game. A lot of people think we're going to lose to the Colts, but no, we're beating the Colts. We're going to lose to the Packers. The Packers are a great team. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5-2 heading into a week 8 bye. Let's keep the good times rolling. We own the Cowboys, so that's a win. And again, we're not losing to the Seahawks home or away. That's a win for the Cardinals. Week 11 against San Francisco. I have us winning this game just due to home field, home atmosphere. And I think the Cardinals are good enough to split with the Niners any year. They're not horrible, and this is not going to be a horrible year. Jacksonville and Arizona. I know Jacksonville's going to be good. This will be a fun game. And I wouldn't be upset if Cardinals lost that game. And if Jacksonville was somewhat decent, but I think the Cardinals are better than the Jaguars, and it's in Arizona too, so that helps. Arizona, they're going to lose to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, I think, are a better team than the Cardinals. They'll beat the Rams. We lent the stadium to the Rams in the playoffs last year due to the fires in LA. I know, that's a bad thing that happened. And I feel bad for the people of LA. But I saw the Rams schedule release videos. They think they can joke about the stadium being ours, but they don't remember 41-10 in week 2 last year. They don't remember that. We do. That's probably what's going to happen. And actually, I think it's going to be a 41-10 game there. I'm just kidding. But wouldn't that be cool? But after that, we're going to lose to the Texans, because I think the Texans are better. CJ Stroud is better than Kyler Murray. We're going to beat the Falcons. The Falcons, I'm not sure what to think of them. But give them at least a winning record. We're going to lose to the Bengals. This will be a close game. And both these defenses that they kind of invest in. I know the Bengals haven't invested in theirs. We invested in ours, which probably could argue we win this game, but no. No, I think Joe Burrow, the Bengals offense is better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals could make a mistake and that could cost us that game, but we'll close it out with a win against the Rams. So this is the year Arizona puts it all together. Or give me 12 wins for the Arizona Cardinals, and that is plenty good enough to win the NFC West and get the home playoff game. And there was a playoff game at State Farm Stadium last year between the Vikings and the Rams. This year, I'm not sure. This year, it's going to be the Cardinals hosting a playoff game against the Commanders. No, I think it should be the Packers. Or whatever it is, it's kind of a cluster of 12-5 teams. So after the record predictions in the NFC, here's how I have it going. I have the Lions winning the number 1 seed. I have the Buccaneers going 12-5. They're the 2. Arizona is the 3. Philadelphia is the 4. I think it should be Washington. I have Washington winning the division. This is just a little bit of a mix-up. Oh, that's conference record too. Oh. Yeah, I'm ignoring some of these whatever these tiebreakers are and giving Washington the division. And they'll probably rotate around 4 through 6. And the Bears 10-7 make, the Niners miss, the Falcons miss, and the Panthers are 7-10. And then it goes down to all the 6-5 win teams. So, yep, that's how I have the NFC going. Let's go on to the AFC. And let's start with the Buffalo Bills. It's coming off an AFC Championship appearance last year. Let us just see how good the Bills are going to be. So, they're going to start the year Week 1 against the Ravens. Home atmosphere. Theirs are pretty even teams. They're both going to be very good. But I have the Bills winning this game. And that's going to kickstart a whole horde of winning streak. So the Bills, Jets, Bills. Dolphins, Bills, Bills. Patriots, Bills, Bills. Bills, Falcons, Bills. A lot of these games are going to be like no contest. Chiefs, Bills could be close, but the Bills usually beat the Chiefs in the regular season. It's going to be too tough for the Chiefs. The Bills own the Dolphins. I hope. I know Dolphins fans don't like to hear that, but I'm just stating fact. I think the Bills are better than the Buccaneers. The Texans, that's where the Bills are going to lose their first game. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-1. That's 10-game winning streak. An 11-game winning streak to start the year. And then they're going to lose. They're going to beat the Steelers. They'll lose to the Bengals. But they'll beat the Patriots. They'll beat the Browns. They'll beat the Eagles, but they'll lose to the Jets because they'll be resting starters. So it's 14-3 year. The Bills, they are on top of the AFC East, and I don't see that changing. I don't see anybody challenging their spot on top of the division. The number 1 seed, that could be a bit more of a challenge. That could really be the Bills' division as the division leaders in the AFC. Yeah, don't think they'll challenge them that much. So, Buffalo, 14-win year. Just going to be a great year for the Bills. But I'm going to go to the Patriots now. Now, 3-4. The Patriots, they added Stephon Diggs. They added a lot of pieces, as in somewhat decent pieces. How many wins is that going to translate into? Let's find out right now. Starting with the Raiders-Patriots game. I've got the Raiders winning this game. And I think this is going to be close. But I think Patriots will slip up, but they'll beat the Dolphins. They'll lose to the Steelers. The Steelers will be still hitting their stride at that point. They'll beat the Panthers. They'll lose to the Bills. They'll beat the Saints. The Titans will beat them. This is where I think Cam Ward will start his greatness streak. That's why I have the Titans winning that game. But no contest. Patriots beat the Browns. The Falcons will beat the Patriots. The Patriots will beat the Falcons. They'll lose to the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are the better team. They'll beat the Jets, in New England. That's 6-7. Pythagorean expectation. And 0.0. Oh, that's a weird thing. They'll lose to the Bengals. They'll lose to the Giants. They'll lose to the Ravens. They'll lose to the Jets, but they'll beat the Dolphins. I wanted to give the Patriots a few more wins, but I think they'll go out 7-10. So I think the Patriots are better off. I think I'm better off picking the Patriots for 7 wins. I think they're going to be a lot better, but it's not quite time for them to go into the playoffs. So 7 wins for them. Let's do the New York Jets. It's the Aaron Rodgers experiment in New York was a disaster. But let's see how the Justin Fields experiment will go. I have the Steelers beating the Jets in week 1. I have the Bills beating them. I have the Buccaneers beating them. It's basically no contest games. The Dolphins are going to win a few games this year, so let's give the Dolphins a win there. The Broncos are too tough a task. New York has an offense. The Broncos have a good defense. That'll shut their offense down. Same with the Bengals, but they have the good offense. That'll shut the Jets' defense down. So I have them winning 0 games going into their Week 9 bye. But I have them beating the Browns, losing to the Patriots and Ravens back-to-back. The Jets seem to have the Falcons' numbers, so I've taken the Jets over the Falcons. The Jets over the Dolphins at home. It's like home atmosphere. Jets over the Jags. The Jags have a tendency to lose games they shouldn't. But so do the Jets. That's why they'll lose the next week. And then they'll beat the Patriots. They'll beat the Bills. 6-11. They'll start to look good down the stretch. But I'm going to pump the brakes on the Jets. I don't think they'll do that good this year. So give me 6 wins. On to the Dolphins now. I don't know if Dolphins fans will want to see this, but I'm going to try not to be too mean, but I'm also going to be honest. I said the same thing about the Saints, so but let's see. Dolphins, Colts. I'll do the Colts after the Dolphins. So, yeah, the Dolphins, I think, are better than the Colts. The Dolphins will lose to the Patriots, the Bills. They'll beat the Jets. They'll lose to the Panthers. They'll lose to the Chargers. I'm really liking all the additions the Chargers made, like Najee Harris. Yes, I really like their team this year. The Dolphins, I think they'll lose to the Browns because I think the Browns will be flexing their muscles a little bit. They'll lose to the Ravens in no contest. Bills, no contest twice. Commanders, no contest. They'll beat the Saints by probably no contest. Dolphins, Steelers. I got the Steelers winning that game. And at that point, the Steelers will be trying to play for a winning record. The Dolphins being the Bengals, but I only have the Dolphins winning 4 games this year. I don't think the Dolphins... I know the Dolphins added Minka Fitzpatrick, but one man cannot carry a defense. We saw that with Montez Sweat in Chicago. Oh, one man cannot carry a defense. He needs help. Well, they traded Jalen Ramsey. And Tua's got a long concussion history that's kind of sad. And I don't trust Zach Wilson to win a lot of games. So 4-13 for the Dolphins. Let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts. Well, they added Daniel Jones, but sadly they lost Jim Irsay. And he passed away. I feel horribly about that. My condolences go out to the Colts. Well, but let's see how many games they're going to win. And I have them losing to the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are better. I think the Broncos... those are better. The Colts, Titans. I think the Titans will beat the Colts. The Rams. I got the Colts beating the Raiders. Chargers, Titans. That's a loss. Colts have the Steelers number. 2-10. And so far, going into the bye week, they only have 2 wins. They'll lose to the Chiefs. They'll lose to the Texans. They'll lose to the Jaguars. The Colts don't usually win in Jacksonville. They'll beat the Jaguars. They'll beat the Colts. I have the Colts only winning 4 games. I don't think they're a good team. Even if it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones starting, I don't trust either of them to win. in very many games. So the Colts winning only 4. Yeah, it's very sad about Jim Irsay. I feel my condolences go out to the Colts organization, and because losing a loved one is not easy. I've been through that with my grandparents, and so yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ours in a much happier state of affairs. There's the Jags. They added Travis Hunter through the draft. They added Liam Cohen. Let's see how good they will be. So I have them losing the first 2, the Panthers and Bengals. I have them losing to the Texans, the Niners, but I have them beating the Chiefs. Jacksonville will usually luck into some weird wins, and I think this is going to be one of them. They also get some good wins in Britain. So that's bad news for the Rams. The Jaguars and the Raiders, I am going to pick the Raiders to win that game. So that's only 3 wins so far. I'm going to pick the Texans. I'm going to take the Jags to beat the Chargers, because there's going to have Jags losing to the Titans and the Broncos, but beating the Titans in Week 18. 5-12. What happened here? Oh, yeah, because I'm beating the Jets. I'm losing to the Jets, so... Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a great year for Jacksonville. Unless Trevor Lawrence is playing out of his mind, I don't think Jacksonville will be that good this year. If Trevor Lawrence puts together some respectable performances, and the Jags still lose, then... And if they have an easier schedule next year, they can win, but still, it's going to get a little better this year. Or it should really be 6-11, but I kind of already filled some things in. Let's go to the Tennessee Titans now. Oh, and I'm going to break some news while I'm recording this. Will Levis is going to undergo season surgery, so he'll be out for the season. I don't think he was going to play anyway. Cam Ward was going to be the starter, but I was under the assumption when the Titans drafted Cam Ward that he was going to be the starter anyway. So, but now it's actually more official. So, let's see how many games Tennessee is going to win this year. Titans, they'll lose to the Broncos. Rookie quarterbacks don't start out the season well, but they find themselves playing good down the stretch. So, that's why I have the Broncos winning there. Same with the Rams. I have the Titans beating the Colts, getting their first win. I have them losing to Texans, Arizona, and the Raiders all in a row. Most because, Tam Ward won't be finding his stride. Those were all on the road, so that's still tough. But I have the Titans beating the Patriots and the Colts. Chargers, Titans, I have the Chargers winning that one. But I have the Titans winning after their bye week. They only get 3 wins. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 and 6 going into their bye. They level up to 500, 3 straight wins against Houston, Seattle, and Jacksonville. 4 straight wins against the Browns. So they go over 500. They'll lose to the Niners, but they'll beat the Chiefs, because I think the Chiefs aren't going to be that good this year. Here are the Saints and the Titans. And I have them winning that game. But I have them losing Week 18 to the Jags. But the Titans go will have a winning record this year. A lot of people are sleeping on the Titans. Is because they were unsure about if Will Levis was even going to play. I think Cam Ward is the real deal. Oh, he's walking into the best situation possible. Oh, and on paper, the Titans have some good weapons. Head coaching worries me a little bit, but I still think the Titans can do it. So give me Tennessee is undeniably the second best team. So give me the Titans for 9 victories. He's in the potential to go to the playoffs. So I'll decide that later. But the Houston Texans, let's do that. So, well, the Texans, CJ Stroud had a sophomore slump last year, but the Texans still made it to the divisional round. Will they go further than that this year? Well, I'm not going to do playoffs in this video. Oh, actually, I am. But, yeah, let's see. So, Texans and Rams. Got Houston winning week 1. Tampa and Houston. I think CJ Stroud will give Baker Mayfield a bit of problems. Houston somewhat owns the Jags, so that's why Houston will win that one. The Titans and the Texans, I have them splitting this year, but splits, I favor home teams, so that's why Houston wins that one. Baltimore has Houston's number, so that's why I think Houston's going to lose in week 5 going into their bye week. But then they'll win 4 in a row against Seattle, San Francisco. They seem to play well against San Francisco. Denver is one of the few games I have Denver losing. Jacksonville, again, they seem to own Jacksonville. I have them losing to the Titans because, well, it's at home and Cam Ward's going to have a pretty good year. The Bills, I have them beating the Bills. I have them beating the Colts. They'll lose to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still going to beat a few good teams this year. No question about that. Raiders, Texans. I got the Texans winning that game, but I have the Chargers getting their revenge for the playoffs. But then the Colts will beat the Texans. They'll probably be resting starters. Even by week 17, they'll rest starters. So what means that 12 wins. Yeah, Houston's going to win 12 games this year. They're undeniably the best team in the AFC South. This is Houston's division for now. Oh, so that's AFC South done. Let's go to the AFC North. I want to get this Browns prediction done with. The Cleveland Browns. So, Cleveland was a mess last year. They have so many QBs. Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco. Oh, and I don't know if Deshaun Watson is still on the team. I don't like Deshaun Watson. Yeah, he's done some bad things. But I don't want to talk about that. Let's just get into this game. They'll beat Cincinnati week 1. Cincinnati's gonna usually loses their opening game. And I think that's why it's probably the only reason I have the Browns winning that game. I got the Ravens winning. Packers, Lions, Vikings, Steelers. I have Cleveland beating the Dolphins, but losing to the Patriots going into their bye week. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 and 6. But I have them losing to the Jets after the bye week. The Ravens sweep them. The Raiders are a better team than the Browns. The Browns will beat the Niners. The Niners usually have an inexplicable loss every year, and this is going to be it. But then they'll lose to the Titans, the Bears, the Bills, the Steelers, and the Bengals will get their revenge in Week 18. So I have the Browns going only 3-14. Only 3-14 because the Browns are not really a good team. Like, outside of Myles Garrett, they lost Nick Chubb. Jerry Jeudy's their wide receiver 1, I believe. It's just not great in Cleveland. And so let's go to a little bit of a better team, the Steelers. They brought in Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Rodgers, among other names, and DK Metcalf. We can't forget about DK Metcalf. That was one of their biggest moves in the offseason. How many games is it going to translate to winning? Let's see. I'm starting 3-0. I'm starting against the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers would prove to the Jets that they made a mistake letting him go. Oh, the Seahawks and the Steelers. I think the Steelers will prove. DK Metcalf will have something to prove in that game. Steelers will get a signature win against the Patriots, but the Vikings could be a little tough going their bye week 3-1. They'll beat the Browns. They'll lose to the Bengals in Cincinnati. I tend to favor home teams. They'll lose to the Packers. The Colts always seem to have the Steelers' number. But the Steelers will beat the Chargers. They'll beat the Bengals. They'll lose to the Ravens. And they'll split with... Okay, so let's see. They'll beat the Bengals. They'll lose to the Bears. I know Aaron Rodgers, seems to own the Bears, but that was when the Packers... when he was still on the Packers. The Bears are better now. The Bills are a better team than the Steelers. So are the Ravens. The Dolphins. The Steelers are better than the Dolphins. The Lions is going to be too much of a challenge. The Browns going to be easy game. Packers, they'll lose that one. They'll win week 18 against Baltimore. I think Baltimore will be resting starters. Or the Steelers will be playing for a winning record. Or like usual, so... I got Steelers with 9 wins. But let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals. They went 9-8 last year. Joe Burrow is him. He almost dragged this team. If they beat the Chiefs in week 2, they probably made the playoffs last year. But let's see how good they're going to do this year. Browns. They'll lose to the Browns, but they'll beat the Jags. They'll beat the Vikings to go to 2-1 to start, but they'll lose to the Broncos, Lions, and Packers. That'll take them to 2-4. But then they'll go back up to 5-4. It's kind of hot and cold before their bye week. They'll beat the Steelers, Jets, and Bears to go 5-4. 5-5 coming out of the bye week. They'll lose to the Steelers. 6-5. 6-6. It's by week 13. But here's where the Bengals are going to get good. They'll beat the Bills in Buffalo, like they did in the playoffs a couple years ago. They will beat the Ravens at home, ending the Ravens' win streak. It gets some random point. You Ravens fans, you'll see that stuff in a minute. They'll lose to the Dolphins, but they'll beat the Cardinals, they'll beat the Browns. How many wins is that? 10 wins. Yeah. Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson, they might hold out. I hope they get new contracts, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. So but 10-7, I think that's plenty good enough to make the playoffs in the AFC. But let's go on to the Baltimore Ravens. And they added DeAndre Hopkins, but they always seem to do very well. Well, I'm always very high on the Ravens. They're consistently good year to year. One bad year I remember them having was 2021. And Ravens, and even then they went 8-9. And so it's like multiple seasons I can remember with 8+ wins. And they're the kings of the AFC North right now. So let's see. I got them losing to the Bills week 1, but then I have them winning in 1, 2, being the Browns, Lions, Chiefs, Texans, Rams going into their bye week. That's 5-1. The win streak continues against the Bears. That's 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 9-1 against the Dolphins, Vikings, and Browns. Against the Jets, the Bengals the first time, the Steelers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 12-game win streak, but the Bengals will snap their win streak. That will be only their second loss of the year. That's impressive. It's tough. They'll beat the Patriots, but then they'll lose the final 2. But at this point, the Ravens might lose a close one for entertainment. They'll rest starters probably the last 2 weeks. So the Ravens are 13-4. They'll be the 2 seed because I have the Bills. Bills with 14 victories in the week 1, probably the tiebreaker. But still, Baltimore. Okay, I just had a visitor, so yeah, but Ravens are going 13-4 this year. You better believe it. Let's go. I think I've kept Chiefs fans waiting long enough. Let's see. Yeah, the Chiefs are going to do. They're coming off a beatdown in the Super Bowl. I think the Chargers will win in Brazil. I think the Chiefs will slip up in the opening week, as they sometimes do. But here's where it gets really bad. Here's where it gets real bad. The Eagles will probably beat down on them again. I have the Chiefs beating the Giants, but I have the Ravens beating the Chiefs this year. This is part of the Ravens 12-game win streak that I just talked about. The Chiefs will lose to the Jaguars. The Jaguars seem to luck into some weird wins, and this will be it. The Lions are too tough for the Chiefs. The Chiefs will beat the Las Vegas Raiders because it's in Arrowhead, but they'll lose to the Commanders. They'll lose to the Bills. 2-7 going into the bye week. 2-8 coming out, but then they'll start to try and play for a winning record. Week 12 will be time to try. They'll beat the Colts. The Cowboys, and the Texans, and the Chargers all in a row, but their winning season dream will probably perish. They will lose to the Titans, but they'll win the final 2, but it won't be enough. I have them. I don't think the refs will be helping the Chiefs too much anymore. Let's be honest. I don't think they could keep up the dark magic for another season. So this is why I have the Chiefs going 8-9, not returning to the playoffs. Because let's look at the Chiefs' tough stretch again. And the Chiefs, everyone else in the division improved. Like the Chargers, they really improved. Like the Eagles, probably too tough. The Ravens are probably too tough. The Jaguars seem to luck into some weird wins. The Lions, the Commanders, and Bills, those are all tough games. And the Broncos as well in Denver. And Kansas City might make a mistake against Tennessee. That'll probably secure their losing year. So that's why I have the Chiefs doing that badly. Oh wait, this is the Jets. I meant to click on the Raiders, excuse me. Here we are. The Raiders. They made some good moves this offseason. They added Geno Smith to their team. But let's see how many wins they are going to get. So the Raiders will beat the Patriots in week 1, lose to the Chargers in week 2, and the Commanders in week 3, and the Bears in week 4, and the Colts in week 5. So it's not too good a start. But then they'll beat the Titans. They'll lose to the Chiefs going into their bye week. So they'll be 2-5. But they'll beat the Jags 3-5, 3-6, 4-6, 5-6. They'll get up to 5-6 at one point. They'll lose to the Chargers. They'll lose to the Denver Broncos both times. I think the Raiders will beat the Broncos once. So that's 6 wins for the Raiders. Or let's go over that. I have them losing the final 4 games because the Eagles, Texans, Giants, and Chiefs are a little tough. But I think the Raiders will win. Now, here's where I'm gonna start with the Broncos because I have them finish. Let's see where I have teams finishing. Well, it's the same as the Eagles Commanders. Okay, so I have the rest of it figured out. They'll start 2-0. The Denver Broncos will. The Broncos will come up. They're coming off a great year here with Bo Nix. They return to the playoffs. They'll beat the Titans and the Colts. They'll lose to the Chargers at home. They'll beat the Bengals. They'll lose to the Eagles. Also, that's 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, 7-3. They'll beat the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys all in a row. They'll lose to the Texans. They'll beat the Raiders and Chiefs. They'll lose a couple coming out of their bye week. They'll lose to the Raiders and the Commanders. I know I have that in the wrong order, but still, they'll lose both of those games. But then they'll beat the Packers, the Broncos. They'll lose to the Chiefs. And they'll beat the Chargers. They'll go 11-6 this year. Which means but let's look at the Chargers. So week 1 for the Chargers, they'll beat the Chiefs, they'll beat the Raiders, they'll beat the Broncos, they'll beat the Giants to start off. They'll slip up against the Commanders. They'll beat the Dolphins. They'll beat the Colts and the Vikings and the Titans. That's 8-1. They're 8-3 going out their bye week. They'll lose the next 2. Then they'll beat the Raiders. They'll lose to the Eagles. The Eagles, while the Chargers could compete, I think the Eagles is a little too much of an ask. The Chargers and Chiefs usually split, so give me the Chiefs. I have them being the Cowboys and Texans all in a row, but I have them losing to the Broncos. But for some reason, percent versus division was the tiebreaker. All the additions, but if we ignore that and just the week 18, it would have the Denver Broncos winning the division by this much. This is going to be very close between those two teams. But they'll play each other in the playoffs. So let's go to the playoff bracket now. I don't want to see these ads. All right, so we're at the playoff run. Oh, yes, here's something I forgot to do. I'll show you how the conferences would stack up. So, I have the Bills getting the number 1 seed the bye week. I have the Ravens going 13-4, or getting themselves as the 2 seed. The Texans will be the 3. The Broncos will be the 4. The Chargers will be the 5. Again, this is a little messed up. It's a little up and down. But it was the same thing with the Eagles and the Commanders. But the Chargers and Broncos will play each other. At the Bengals, it's the 6. And the Steelers as the 7. And let's let Aaron Rodgers return to the playoffs. Austin Cam Ward's time will come next year. And then it goes down and shows. So let's go to the calendar. Or the wildcard round. I don't want to see an ad. And I don't want copyright issues. So Denver and the Chargers for the third time. Who's going to win that game? I'm going to have the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Broncos by this much in the playoffs. This much. But wherever this game is played, however the chips may fall, I think the Chargers will. I think the Chargers' time has come. The Broncos might need a little more on offense. Their defense will push back opposing offenses. And Bo Nix might make something out of nothing a little bit, and they'll win games. So that's what happens. Is there. The Bengals and the Texans. I actually have the Texans as underdogs in this game, so I think I'll take the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is a bit better than CJ Stroud. Steelers and the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is better than Aaron Rodgers right now, so I'll take the Ravens. And the Steelers don't usually win in the playoffs. So, drink there. Never drink water there. Okay, let's see. The NFC. Yeah, I don't understand. I wish it was a little different. Okay. Here we go. What? No, that's wrong. Okay, here we go. I've organized the NFC. There's like five teams in here that went 12-5. The Commanders is the 2. The Buccaneers is the 3. My Cardinals is the 4. The Packers is the 5. The Eagles as the 6. Because that's how I'd have them finishing. And so let's start with Bears Commanders. Hail Mary might be a little much, so let's give the Commanders the win. The Buccaneers seem to have the Eagles' number, or especially in the playoffs, it seems. So give that, and I want to give my Cardinals the win here, but I don't think the Cardinals will do it against the Packers. So give me the Green Bay Packers to beat the Arizona Cardinals. I know it's so sad, but hey, the Cardinals are in the playoffs. Us when they should be. Hey, that's all we can wish for, right? Hey, alright, I'm gonna go to the divisional round. Okay, here we are. Divisional round. I don't want these ads here. Why is this so many ads here? Okay, so where's the NFC? What? Hang on. Hey, this thing is having problems today. Anyway, so I'm going to... So Chargers, Ravens in the divisional round. I think the Ravens are going to be the Chargers. We're going to beat the Chargers. By a little bit more. But still, that's Chargers going out in the divisional round. Do I take the Bills? The Bills got over their divisional round woes. This could determine if they're my Super Bowl pick. I'm sorry. The Bengals, I think, know how to beat the Bills. The Bengals seem to put it together against the Bills, and they'll have an easier time with them, so... Yeah, I have the Bills losing in the divisional round. I don't know, the Bengals are going to go on a bit of a run this year. Okay. Buccaneers Commanders. A rematch of last year's wildcard game. I've got the Commanders winning. And the Packers and the Lions. And Detroit, I think, is better than Green Bay. They'll beat them again. Let's go to the conference championship round. Okay, here we are, round 3 of 4 in the playoffs. Awesome. So if this is correct, I have the Bengals and Ravens, a divisional matchup in the AFC Championship game. We had a divisional matchup in the championship game last year, but that was in the NFC. And guess what? The Commanders are back in the NFC Championship game. We'll get to the NFC Championship. My hand hurts. Yes. There we go. So, Bengals Ravens. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. But I'm taking Baltimore. I had to think about that for a minute. But I think Baltimore's got a better defense than Cincinnati. And that's where it's going to hurt Cincinnati the most, but still. An AFC Championship appearance, that Bengals fans should be proud of. Of a healthy Ravens team. These teams are pretty close to each other when it comes to the shove. And the Commanders and the Lions. I know earlier I said no revenge for the Lions this year. But that was in the regular season, not the NFC Championship game. I think the Commanders could win this game. The Battle of the Beltway in Maryland. And it'd be two close teams. It'd be cool. But Detroit, I have Detroit going to the Super Bowl. Oh, and are they going to win that Super Bowl? Okay, here we are. This is my Super Bowl matchup for this year. I have the Detroit Lions playing the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a close game. I want to pick I think Detroit can win the Super Bowl. They definitely could. I think Detroit will learn from their Week 3 mistakes against Baltimore. And I think Detroit will win the Super Bowl. Well, Detroit, I think, is putting it all together this year. But one more thing before I go. I'm going to look at the draft order. Okay, is it going to show the draft order? Where is it? Draft order. Here we go. Oh, so I have the Saints with the number 1 pick, the Browns with the 2, the Colts with the 3, the Dolphins with the 4, Jaguars with the 5, the Giants with the 6, the Vikings with the 7th overall pick, the Jets with the 8th, the Seahawks will be drafting top 10, so will the Raiders for some reason, the Rams with the 11th, the Cowboys with the 12th, Patriots with the 13th, Panthers with the 14th, Chiefs with the 15th, Titans, Falcons, and Niners, the teams with winning records who don't make the playoffs, drafting 16 through 18. Steelers drafting 19th. The Bears drafting 20th. The Broncos drafting 21st. The Eagles drafting 22nd. Cardinals drafting 23rd. The Texans drafting 24th. The Chargers drafting 25th. The Buccaneers drafting 26th. The Packers at 27. The Bills at 28. The Bengals at 29. The Commanders at 30. The Ravens at 31. And the Lions, the Super Bowl winners, drafting at the end. And that is how I see the 2025 NFL season going. Now, I will be doing weekly predictions. And it's like week to week, just in case any of this changes, but just like for fun, I will be doing power rankings and all that, but these are my season predictions. Don't hold me to the results of the games, just hold me to the records. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This was a very long video, so I'd really appreciate if you guys would like and subscribe. It will help me out. It took me a long time to do this. yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.